Hi everybody, Alex Video Active here, and I am joined with Bran the Fox. If you have not checked out their YouTube channel, definitely go check it out. Today's video, we're going to be talking about fursuits and the cost of them and how it has risen in the last few years to the point where some people are claiming they're unaffordable. And we're going to talk about that. Um, First off, I have seen fursuits sell from anywhere from $1,500 all the way up to, I think the most expensive one is like it was a very high tech one, and I think it was like around 17 or $20,000. That's a lot of money for a suit. Um, Most expensive suit I've ever bought was like 2 grand, which I currently have one I'm commissioning that's going to be around three. I don't think I could ever spend more than 5,000 on a fursuit because they're a luxury item and they're not really something I have to have or you need to be a furry. They're just a luxury item that we want. Brand, I don't know. Do you have a fursuit?
I've been trying to work on one, though it's very hard to find the materials
Hmm.
because you need to find the fur, then also be able to either glue it, duct tape it. Well, I only got like a foam head base that
Hmm.
was already pre-made because you're going to need to have a lot of skill to basically carve and cut to make really good foam head bases.
That's very true. And for those people that are screaming how fursuits nowadays are unaffordable, there's always the option of like what Bran is doing here of making your own. Um, I've tried it before. I used to be able to make them okay, but they never kind of quite looked the way I wanted them to, but they were pretty close. But my hands just don't work like they used to anymore. I'm old. So, yeah, I that's actually it's really cool that you're making your own. I want to see it when you're done. Um,
Yeah, well, I got like the foam head base, but I had to get like the fur and other materials like eye mesh and
mhm.
stuff to be able to design on the foam head.
Yeah, that I mean, yeah, getting all the material, it's hard to find some of it. And if you guys hear anything in the background, I'm
Especially
doing
for
laundry.
cheap prices.
Oh yeah, definitely cheap prices. That yeah, you're asking for a lot. So let's talk about the fursuit. So the average fursuit right now for a full suit is ranging from what I've been looking at for a new commission. They're anywhere from $3,000 up to $10,000, and wait time has been anything from 6 months to I think one of them actually had like a 5 year wait just to get your suit made. Like you pay them now, but you got to wait 5 years to get your suit. So that's another thing to take in consideration is how long are you going to wait for your suit. Um, but
Yeah, and I've heard there's some people that commission to have their suits made and they ended up paying, but the makers didn't really get much back to them or give them much updates on the suits.
yeah,
So it seemed like a bit scam worthy.
yeah, I need to do a video sometime on preventing yourself from getting scammed, whether it be art, fursuit commissions, or anything. That's a good idea. So yeah, they're expensive. And they are going. A lot of makers are going up in price. I always say it like this: something's only worth what someone's willing to pay. Like me personally, I will never spend over 5 grand for a fursuit only because it's a luxury item and I don't need it. But someone out there may determine 10,000 is a good price for a suit for them, but that is getting on the it's hard to afford. Uh, but I'm not going to bash a maker and say that they're price gouging or anything like that because you got to look at the time that these makers put into suits. Because like my suit that I'm commissioning right now, I'm paying 3 grand for. I think she said it'll take a few months to make because she does really detailed work. So let's just say on average she puts 8 hours a day into this suit and it takes her a couple, months to make. That's a lot of time invested. Now, I'm sure there's going to be downtime in that, like when she's waiting on things to like glue to set or harden. If I don't know how she makes her suits, so I'm just assuming. So there's that, and like Brand was just talking about with the, you have to know what you're doing sculpting. So you also got to remember they're human. They may be working on your piece and then something goes wrong. You can't fault them for that. It just happens. So are fursuits too expensive? My answer to that would be no. It all depends on what you want. Because, like for me, I like to go to new makers because one, they're normally a little cheaper because they're learning. Their quality may not be that of a well-known maker or someone that's been making for 10, 15 years, but they're still good. And some new makers are just as good as someone that's been working for 20 years. It all depends on how much time and patience they take into it. Because fursuits are like art. Anybody can do it. Just how good is it going to be, and how much time do they want to make it perfect? How much practice do they put in it? So, fursuits can be affordable. You just got to understand how much time goes into it. Because if someone, these fursuit makers are not getting rich off making fursuits by no means. Most of them actually work in a regular day job, and then this is like their side hustle for their extra money. So that's another reason why it could take time for them to make it, because unless you're paying them $10,000, guess what? That what they're charging you may not be paying their bills. Because where I'm at, where I live, the average rent is $12 to $2,000 a month. I don't know very many people even that work just one full time job that can afford that. The house me and my husband live in rents for $900 a month, and it's not the most best house in the world. And then we got our vehicle insurance, which is, I thought I was paying high until I seen some people's lately. We pay $300 for auto insurance for our two vehicles, and but then I seen some people are paying like $600 for one vehicle. So I don't feel bad no more. um, but you got to look at the cost of living and like, is this their job, day job? If so, then they're committed to making your suit, so their times are going to be down, but the cost is going to be up because they got to pay their bills and survive. Now, um, the option of making your own is always going to be the cheapest route to go. But like Brand said, you can buy a base head, like the base of the head. You just have to put the fur on, and I think you have to sculpt it a little bit, don't you, Brand?
Yeah, and also cut out basically some holes like the eyes and mouth so you could be able to see and breathe.
Yeah. So when you get mad like how expensive a fursuit is, you have to look at the all the cost as a whole, because what may be expensive to me or expensive to you, this person may only be getting the equivalent of $5 an hour if they spend enough time on it. I mean, a lot of people don't look at how long it takes to make stuff too, because I know, so like this avatar that I'm using right now, I know Relay Corgi made. He did a wonderful job on it, but it also took him some time, and that time was time he out of his personal life. He'll never get that back. So when I paid him for it, like I said, that's why I was willing to pay for it. He did a great job, and it took time. Trying to think here, my brain's not braining today. Um, but are fursuits affordable? Yes, there can be. And there's always the used market. Like Dealer's Den is a good place to buy fursuits used. And I've also been finding some on Macari app that you can find a used one if you're trying to save a few dollars. Now, make sure you know your measurements. Make sure you do your due diligence and background check people, and make sure you know that they're not a scam. Normally, it's just a piece of paper with their name or your name or whatever on it to make prove that they're not scamming or anything. Because scams are big in the fandom, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, they're affordable, but there are also not some that are not affordable. But you just have to look. Do you really want a suit from that maker? And if you do, then you're going to have to pay their price. Um, I don't ever go to a suit maker based off of clout or popularity, as some people say, because I have met my fair share of popular people that I wouldn't even want to associate with. I go to people that, like I said, I want to get to know them on a personal level, kind of know how they are, make sure it's somebody I would associate with, because that's how you prevent issues with certain fursuit makers in the past who have done some very, very bad things. And then now all the people that have commissioned them from suits are getting hate, even if they bought their suit before that stuff came out and before they knew it. So that's another thing to take into consideration when you're buying a suit. What is this person's reputation in the fandom? A new maker or someone on a cheaper end, not as well known, while they may not get noticed for their suits and stuff, but if they turn out to be a bad person, they're going to go from not known to very well known, and now you have one of their suits, so you're a supporter of what they do. So that's another thing to consider when commissioning a suit. Too. I know this video has kind of gone over more topics when it comes to fursuits, so I might change the name. But yeah, suits are expensive, but to make them cheap or get one cheap, you're going to have to lower your standards of quality or take a risk with a scammer or just make it yourself. Like I said, I would love to see a lot more fursuit makers come out. So if more people start making their own, guess what? Then your friend's going to say, "Hey, you made yours. How much would you charge me to make mine?" And then guess what? Next thing you know, you're the next greatest fursuit maker out there. Would you have anything you would like to add, Bren?
Not that I could think of.
Yeah. So fursuits, guys, before you hate on a suit maker for their price, understand that some suit makers really spend a lot of extra time making their suits, but some don't spend the extra time. So make sure you do your diligence there. But um, just remember, when it comes to price of a fursuit, yes, there are some out there that cost more than I paid for my first house. Now, granted, my first house was a trailer on a lot, and it wasn't in the best shape, but it was livable, and I paid $9,000 for that. Just remember, times have changed, cost of material, and just finding material, like Brand was saying earlier, is getting hard. And then you got to look at all the time they invest, the needles to the finger, the hot glue burns on their fingers. That all like stuff they got to deal with. So don't hate on someone's suit maker because they're expensive. Just remember, multiple things go into when they make their prices. And what was that? Oh, hey babe, um, my husband just grabbed my ear. But make sure you check into all that stuff. But I do want to see fursuit prices come down. I don't think that's going to happen. I remember, like I said, I had bought my first fursuit for a couple $100, and that was a full suit from a new maker. But I've also spent $2,000 on my previous one, which is now owned by Citrine Husky and goes by the name of Brownie Shep. Um, and then my new ones, I'm commissioning right now is $3,000, which is this character here you see. Um, if you would have asked me back a couple years ago, I would have said, "Oh no, three grand. I'm not spending that on a fursuit. I can go buy a car for that." But times have changed. Um, so if you want one, always save up. It's best to have the money up front. If you do a payment plan, which that's what I'm doing with my current one, just understand if something comes up, you may lose your money, because if you don't continue with, if you don't honor the contract and payment plan, they can take your money and walk. That's in their terms of service. So always read those terms of service. Make sure you agree and you're willing to lose that money if you don't pay for your suit, or potentially if they make your suit and you haven't paid for it, they have the right to sell that suit, and there's nothing you can do about it. So guys, with that, I think I'm done with this video. It's just a short one. Brand, do you have anything you would like to add, or you want to plug?
Yeah, make sure to subscribe
Yes.
to Alex's channel and also subscribe to my channel for just
Yep. And there will be
Put in
a,
my inputs.
yeah, the brand's channel will be in the description, as well as it will be in the first pinned comment section. So make sure to click that link and go check out, because yeah. And this is also the first video back where it's pre-recorded. So give me some love, guys. I need it. Like I said, we've had a lot of loss this last month. Not only did we lose my father-in-law, but we also lost a very beloved dog. So I need the love. So guys, put Apollo in the comment section for respect for our fallen best friend, who has also been on this channel a lot, and that was my dog Apollo Greed. He was born in 2010 and passed away on last Tuesday in 2024. He was 14 years old, and I really miss my Bubba. So thank you guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Brand, for joining us.